Good morning, everyone. How are you? I think we're live. I think we are. I never know. Now it says I'm live. Okay, so good morning. How is everyone doing? It is almost 11 a.m. here, and I didn't realize it was so late because I am still painting. And hopefully, I will be done painting today. So let me get this set up real quick. And excuse my allergies. We all know how that goes with Robin and her allergies. So I hope you're all doing well. This is actually a beautiful day, and I think I'm a little bit lost here. Let's see. Okay. All right. I just want to be able to see if a question pops up. Okay. There we go. So let's get this party started. How is everyone doing? Beautiful energy, beautiful day. The sun is shining. My roses are my roses are in bloom. Keep forgetting everything's backwards. And I was going to pull some cards and go over some of the astrology. So I think I'm going to do the astrology first. Please don't mind. You can see, yeah, I just got up off of the floor because I realized how late it was. I'm doing trim. I'm down to trim, and the room is done. Yay. Okay, so let me go to my, um, well, first let me pull up a chart. I'm a little, let's see here. Let me get the chart. And we want, with transits, usually helps when we know where the planets are. So we are in the Cancer new moon energy, but what's really, really interesting with all of this is that astrologically in the sky, um, we are more like in a Gemini type of space in the sky. So I want to make sure that you all can hear me. I forgot to set my microphone. Shoot. Well, I guess we'll find out. Okay, so let's go over this because it's simply complicated and complicated very simply. So if you've been feeling like the ground underneath your feet has just been constantly vibrating all month, you're not crazy, because it has. And um, what this is doing is it's asking you to pay attention. Usually, astrology gives us some kind of a blueprint of what's coming, right? I mean, that's what the charts are for. We look at the charts, and it gives us a plan for what we think is a plan, and it's a plan where you can kind of sit back and you can watch what's going on, or you can choose to participate. Okay, but no matter which you choose, whatever is going to happen is going to take place. It's going to start to take form. It's going to start to shape. But the blueprint for for July 2026, it's really kind of demanding that you you do something, that you actually choose some kind of physical forward movement. Um, if you don't repair the house, then the roof will leak, right? Eventually, it will completely rot and collapse. So it's important that we move forward doing something. Um, the sky is, I want to say, relentlessly demanding right now, okay? And it's like we're dealing with this living, breathing, um, highly volatile um, set of instructions that the universe has mapped out for us. And you're not allowed to just be an observer this month. I mean, you can be, but you're not going to get anywhere. And this is why we're here where we are right now. So we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive I'm not trying to talk over anyone, so if anyone has any questions, throw them in. I'll be happy to answer them. It's just that I'm going to explain this as easily as I possibly can, because even I sat and listened to like 20 different astrologers, and I'm like, everybody is reading parts of it the same and parts of it very differently. But we've never been here before. It's like, Star Trek. Remember the original Star Trek, where we're going where no man has ever gone before. Um, so basically, that's the energy that we're in. So um, I brought a whole mountain of information to the table today, and it's a lot. So we're going to go through everything from the tropical chart to kind of trying to visualize the strategy um, that the astrology or that the universe has mapped out for us. So here we go. All right. Across the board, every single piece of material is calling July 2026 a once in a lifetime and once forever kind of month. The consensus is genuinely staggering by all the astrologers. The words unprecedented intensely are just enough no matter where you look. Okay? I mean, no matter where you look, right, you're seeing that word unprecedented. I feel like that's the only word, or it's been a word that we've heard consistently since probably 2020, 2021. And if you look at the geometric patterns in the sky right now, no one has really quite seen anything like this this individual specific combination of alignments. So let's unpack this a little bit at a time. It's like unpacking a suitcase after you come home from vacation. Just, when you're on vacation, before you leave, you pack everything real nice. You don't want your clothes wrinkled. When you're ready to leave, you just shove everything in there. When you get home, you unzip it and everything pops out. Well, that's the kind of energy that we're in. All right. So let's try to demystify all of this this jargon and pull out the most vital, important insights and aspects from this data that I've collected. All right? With a little help from my friends. And that's approximately 20 other astrologers. All right. So we need to understand that the massive macro shifts happening over us, like this incredibly rare basket configuration, Barbeau's basket. And if you haven't heard about it, then you probably have been off planet, because that's a big one. And we're going to try to prepare for today's, deeply emotional, really heavy new moon, and then kind of sort of lay out a plan or map out a plan to a path that's massive but unavoidable. Okay. And what's really unavoidable is the profound energy that's coming in at the end of the month. It's going to be a huge climax. So we'll get to that later on, but right now let's deal with what we're dealing with right now. So I mean, where do we even begin with this sky? I mean, it's crowded. When I think of, that we need to start by like zooming out, right? So we really need to look at the macro level planetary architecture that's in the skies over the entire month, because everything else is just feeding into that. Everything happening on a day-to-day basis it's kind of like a domino effect, right? It's triggering. One thing is triggering. One domino is falling, and it's setting everything into motion for this larger plan, this larger structure, because Saturn's involved. So we want to think about structure and foundation. So what we do now is we're at this choice point that's going to help us moving forward. So in traditional astrology, this is like an overarching alignment known as Barbot's basket configuration. So it's named after the renowned French astrologer Andre Barbeau. Um, some people call it a basket. When you look at it on a chart, it kind of does look like a basket or a cradle. Like, I like to think of it as the universe holding us, um, because that makes me feel better. It's holding us, but we get to choose whether or not we fall, because we get to choose whether or not we take action, because it's full of these beautiful um, trines and sextiles. But sextiles are subtle, and they require that we do something. A sextile is like when someone's opened the door. Do you walk through or not? Okay, if you don't walk through, then nothing happens. Where a trine is flow, so it'll naturally flow. So if you look at the chart, the planets are literally grouped together on one side of the sky. So it's holding all this concentrated energy, and it's a highly rare alignment involving the three most outer planets. So we have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and as everyone knows, they're the heavy hitters. They are forming a minor triangle in the sky, which is a trine, and they are accompanied by Jupiter, which just moved into the wonderful dramatic sign of the King Leo, and that is creating a second trine. And as I was going through some of the information and reading up on Barbot's basket, um, Barbeau, he famously predicted this exact mathematical alignment, that it would usher in what they're calling the golden age of civilization. So he saw this as a peak moment for humanity. His optimism came from the fact that this basket or cradle is composed almost entirely of what we call sextiles and trines. So these are the geometric angles between the planets that traditional astrologers consider highly harmonious and positive. They represent the energy that flows easily. Okay, so all these elements are coming together in a beautiful, cooperative way. Harmonious flow. So, as I was looking through all this information, that sounds kind of passive. And it does sound like, in a way, it's like almost like an area of comfort. Like, if you think of the basket as a cradle or a hammock, it makes you think that you can just like fall asleep. Hi, Emma. Hi, Carmen. How are you? Good morning. So it makes you feel comfortable, like you can just sit back and relax and fall asleep. So, but we don't want to go to sleep, people. We want to keep moving forward. So this configuration is really, really beautiful, and it's cooperative. It flows beautifully. So, you know, why are astrologers saying that this could cause or can require intense friction and exhausting action? It doesn't make it sound like the golden age, right? It sounds like something that's like a really difficult or grueling kind of project. The fascinating thing is that this is the exact misconception that most people have about harmonious aspects, especially the sextile, because that is the unlocked door, and you get to choose whether you walk through that door or not, and that's harmony. Um, but let's see, I lost my space in my notes. Okay, so just remember, you still have to get up, you still have to push that door open or walk through that door. And then the sextiles require deliberate activation. If you just sit on the couch, that's the door's going to stay shut. Everything's going to pass you by. But if you get up and you move and you do whatever it is, any little thing, it could be the smallest thing, will set everything into motion. So if there's something that you've been thinking about, get up off your butt and do it. Okay? Don't worry about it being perfect. It does not have to be perfect. The universe will take care of that. So the universe isn't going to just serve it to you on a silver platter. So we also need to look at the planets, like the signs that these planets are sitting in. They're all masculine, and they're all fire and air signs. So we're talking about Aries, Gemini, Leo, and Aquarius. These are the elements of momentum, intellect, and burning action. Okay? Aries requires some kind of movement. Gemini is our mental, and remember Uranus is there, so it's like our brain on steroids. Leo's the king. He likes to shine his light. He rules the heart. So we're talking about heart-centered space. And Aquarius, it's the out of the box. It's a forward thinker. It's technology. Think about AI and all the things that are going on right now. Just think about our political climate. And these are harmonious, when we put them all together, and the potential of this alignment, of this basket or this cradle or this whatever you want to call it, can only be unlocked if we are pushed extremely out of our comfort zones. So we're being forced to act. So if you feel like you don't have a choice, or you don't know, you know how people will say, you always have a choice, and you're like, yeah, F you. Like, you don't always have a choice. Sometimes the universe makes a choice for you. But in this case, you do have a choice, and it's like we're being provoked into seizing the opportunities that are presenting for us, which is exactly why you're experiencing so much friction in your life. Like, it's like over the past 2 weeks, I don't want to say anything and everything that could go wrong went wrong. It wasn't that things went wrong. Everything flowed, but it was like, wasn't as, the flow wasn't as easy as normal. Like, I bought what should have been more than enough paint. I ran out. It was supposed to cover one coat. It took 3. So then I had to go back and buy more paint. And it wasn't that anything was overly difficult or overly wrong. It was just somewhat like inconvenient and aggravating. So that's like the friction, okay? It wasn't like, overwhelming in the sense that, oh, I'm going to have a breakdown kind of moment. But it was just like a pain in the ass. That's what it is. It's like a pain in the ass. So we have to understand that sometimes the most growth comes out of this friction. It's kind of like a square. People fear the square. Like, oh, it's a unharmonious aspect. Okay, but once you turn that corner, you don't know what's around the corner. So how can you say it's not a positive aspect? All right, you could walk down and we have to remember that Mars is the planet of forward movement, rapid force, especially with Uranus and Gemini, because that's activating our mind, making that move more quickly as well. So it's kind of like everything is like, if you think time is accelerated now, like this is nothing compared to what's coming. And I want to say it's a good thing, because it's going to get us through the shite to the light much quicker. Okay, we're actually ahead of schedule is what I want to say. We're ahead of schedule. I know you might feel like you're behind, but you're not. You're ahead of schedule. So it's drive, it's ambition, it's sometimes just outright conflict with Mars. It's Look at the wars that are going on. I mean, how many wars are going on? I don't even, can't even keep track. I don't watch the news. Okay? So, um, it can be very aggressive energy at times. And Uranus is the great disruptor. Hello. All you have to do is just look at the world. It's full of great disruptors right now. Okay? But we also need to look at what is the byproduct of the disruption that is occurring. Okay? Because we're starting to see more truth surface. We're starting to see people fall away, and I don't wish any harm to anyone. I'm not God. I don't wish that on anyone. Um, but it's chaos. It's sudden awakenings, and they're mass awakenings. I talked about in my last several videos, earthquakes. A lot of those are coming from the solar flares that are hitting the planet, from the sun, but also Uranus can cause earthquakes, anything, especially Taurus, because it just came out of Taurus. I mean, it moves so slow. I mean, it's barely, I don't even know how many degrees is it. I mean, it's barely in Uranus, or in Gemini, I'm sorry. Well, it's further than I thought it was. Okay, let's see. It's 4 degrees, so it's still a babe in the woods, okay? So, so we're throwing everything together in Gemini, which rules communication and the mind and information. And think about that brain being on those steroids. It's your genius is being activated. Might not feel like it, but it is. And it can sound scary. It can sound aggressive. It can sound um, atomic, right? It can sound nuclear. And that's not to scare anyone or anything like that, because I don't see any of that happening, to be honest with you. I just think we have a bunch of boys pissing in the sandbox, and who can piss the furthest. Um, so let's see. This Mars Uranus trigger is layered over a much larger generational planetary aspect. So generational planets are all the outer planets. Usually when you're born with, like, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto in a sign, they are usually there your entire life. It is the people that are living right now that it's very, very rare to see those planets change signs. And we've all experienced over this last year, every single one. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn's every 26 and a half years. But all these major players change signs. This is I can't even explain as an astrologer, astrologically, like, how cool this is. like this is where I geek out. Like, to live during this time um, is so wonderful and beautiful and chaotic and full of conflict all at the same time. So we have specifically a Uranus trine Pluto that goes exact on July 17th. That's in 3 more days. And that is, um, this has a generational meaning. We haven't seen this in our lifetime. And we have not seen Uranus and Pluto form a harmonious trine since 1922. Most of us were not born. If you were, you are well over 100 years old. You would be about like 104. I think my grandmother was born in 1920. No, you'd be 108. So over a century ago. And listen, somebody check my math. I can't promise my math is correct. Good morning, Linda. I miss you. My Capricorn. So, all right. So to understand the entire, I want to say, maybe maybe weight isn't the word, the gravity of all of this, okay? You have to go back and trace the relationship between these two specific planets, because the last time Uranus and Pluto came together, in this way was the mid 60s, and I believe it was, I was born in 63, so I think it was like 64, 65. So, and we think about the 60s, right? We think about Woodstock, we think about all of the changes. I mean, like I said, I was like 2 years old, people, so I wasn't there. But there was a massive, massive change, okay? You know, it was the kids of the 40s and the 50s were just out of control. Think about rock and roll. Think about Elvis shaking his hips and doing all those terribly unacceptable things that are just like basically nothing in today's world. Um, so we need to think about, we're talking massive civil rights milestones, um, women being able to vote, um, blacks being able to vote, people of different cultures, the counterculture, um, the liberal street revolution. And I keep saying that this is a, people are worried about these wars. What I want to say is just let it play out. The universe has it taken care of. That the only revolution that we're really in is an evolution, a revolution of evolution. That's what I want to say. We're in a revolution of evolution, and that's how I've been describing it for the last 2 or more years. So the mold of society was fundamentally broken. Then we went and we took a leap ahead to the 2010s. And this was the era of the Arab Spring, right? Occupy Wall Street, the whole explosion of social media. Remember 2000 when everybody thought what was going to happen when we transitioned from 1999 to 2000? They thought that the whole internet was going to crash. Were we ready for 2000? Oh my God. Probably a lot of you watching weren't even born, or you were just babies. But those of us who remember, those of us who were born in the, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s, and probably even early 70s, we remember. So during that time, Uranus and Pluto were locked in a 10 squares. And they were battling each other over those exact same structural issues that began in the 60s. Astrology is patterns. You know, when we sit here and we do the astrology as astrologers, people think, oh, well, it didn't happen. When's it going to happen? These are cycles, okay? Some of these cycles last a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Saturn is 29 and a half years. Jupiter spends a year in a sign. If you're lucky, you know, lucky to live long enough, you'll have 3 Saturn returns. The average person has 2. You have to live to be in your 90s to have 3. You know, these things play out over time. And if you go back and you think about, well, what happened when you were somewhere around between 29 and 30, or what happened between 57 and 60, or what's going to happen between, say, you know, 88 and 90, you know, these are the things. And if you look at every one of those milestones, if you actually sit with a professional astrologer and have someone properly read your chart, and you go back and you think about those things, you think about Chiron, you think about those childhood wounds, you think about what happened when you were 12 years old, you might not think about it in the moment, but it will come to you. Like my first Saturn return, I went through a divorce. My second Saturn return, I went through a divorce. Those are the things that happened when I was 12 years old. I remember my childhood wound. I could describe it to you like it was yesterday, okay? But I can't remember breakfast. Like those things stand out to us. So those are things that are really important to us. So the trine that we had yesterday is the beginning of the next chapter. The trine signifies a time of integration of all of those past disruptions. So think of it as part of the ignition point, not the whole ignition point, because it's when we line them up and we look at them through the period of time, when we look through the window of time, like looking through a kaleidoscope, and all the pieces are fragmented, and you turn, and then all the pieces, every time you turn it, it forms a different pattern. So based on your individual choices, um, the pattern will change for you. Okay, but collectively, the sky is what the sky is. So we're all going through some kind of integration that is based on those past disruptions or aspects. So if you try to visualize this, it's like, think of it as a massive software update. If this in the 60s, the system was crashing and forcing our computers, our brains, to reboot, 2010 was the software developers trying to figure out the bugs to make sure that we would get through that 1999 2000 transition without everything crashing, the computers crashing, right? And they were writing all this, messy, buggy kind of beta code because no one was really sure if it was going to work or not, and they were testing it out live. We were all, it was all happening in real time. And now in 2026, we're being forced to actually think of it as installing the update on your computer, which I need to do. I keep getting a thing to update it. I keep clicking it off because I'm busy doing something. So we're being forced to actually install the Genius update in our brains. Okay? So we're integrating the code, and it's universal code. And I love that analogy. I can't remember who said that. I really can't remember who said it. It might have been Heather Ensworth. I really don't remember. I watch so many videos, and I'm looking at the chart, and I'm like, do I agree with that? Do I not agree with that? And like every astrologer was right, but it was so nice to look at it from so many different perspectives, from so many facets. We never look at a diamond. When the sun hits a diamond, it never shines the light in one direction. It shines in every direction. So we all get to see all of the different colors, not just one color. So, all right. So we need to hold on because now if we look at the global news cycle right now, and like I said, I'm not really looking. I know what people tell me. There's a lot of chaos. And it doesn't feel like we're kind of like integrating this software update very smoothly. It feels like we're in this area of real discomfort, and some things are loading in a way that just does not feel comfortable, and it's kind of like if you were looking at your computer screen, it would be glitching, right? And think of it as you start to download a file and you lose your power or you lose your internet signal. You don't know if the file has completely downloaded or not. So it's that kind of feeling. So this is where the glitching feeling is what I would call a macro level integration feels like when you're living inside of it. And that's what we're doing. We're living in real time. We're living in the moment. We're living in the cycle of the universe. And it's an integration on a collective scale that almost always has this mask of illusion of disruption at first, because the old system has to turn off. It has to completely shut down for the new one to be able to start up. Okay, so when we look at these huge shifts dominating our reality right now, like what is real, what isn't, the advancements in AI, the rapid move towards technocracy, the way communication is just being completely rewired. And remember that Mercury's in retrograde, so not everyone's actually hearing exactly what we're saying or processing exactly. Um, it's a lot of review and revisiting. So, are they hearing what we're actually saying, or are they processing something from the past? So, and this is at, I want to say, lightning strike speed. And all these advancements are forcing us to somewhat abandon the status quo. We can no longer rely on the old way of doing things, whether that's in our careers or institutions or even how we discern truth. We really want to stop and think, okay, before we make any, especially huge decisions for several reasons. One, because we're in Mercury retrograde, one, because of Mars wants to move quick, you know. So, it makes sense to, in this volatile energy, with all this friction, um, to, we want to move forward, but we want to do it in a sensible way, in a way that we're using discernment, because we're watching all the old structures fall in real time. We're watching our governments fall, we're watching our leaders fall, we're watching the world change in ways that we never dreamed we would ever live to see 20 years ago or even 30 years ago. So if the universe is demanding that we adapt to all this macro level technology and societal chaos, this requires us to have a really solid internal foundation, which brings us to a point that we need to pull in all of our energy for ourselves, because these outer planets, um, the chaos can feel deeply personal and immediately present. So we're in the new moon in Cancer energy, and it is exceptionally potential because it's sitting in exact conjunction with Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde is that wonderful period where our mind turns backwards, okay? And we're going through old memories, unfinished conversations, unresolved emotions, and maybe things that we even forgot about that are coming back up to the surface that still need our attention. So Cancer's not concerned with what's happening out in the world as much as it's concerned with what's happening inside of the heart. It governs home, family, emotional security, ancestral patterns. It's mother energy. It's the places where we seek comfort, security, and belonging. Um, and a new moon in Cancer is always an invitation to begin again emotionally. And this is it isn't a very emotional, watery, emotional moon. But this one carries extra weight because of the Mercury retrograde is sitting right beside it. We just had a Mercury cazimi over the weekend, so which basically means that Mercury was sitting in the heart of the sun. And when a planet sits in the heart of the sun, which we will have, the next one will be Jupiter, coming up, it just gives it superpower. It just super energizes it. So instead of charging forward into the future, the cosmos, the universe is asking us to pause and look back first before we move forward. So think about these things. What emotional stories have you been carrying? What family patterns are you still repeating? What patterns that are yours are you still repeating? What old fear is still influencing your present decisions? We need to get out of the fear energy because we can't move forward if we're stuck and frozen in fear. These are the questions this new moon is asking. So this moon is very internal. The one thing about Cancer is it's, it's ruled by the moon, but it's also like our deepest. It's the most personal. It's where we have our most personal thoughts and feelings and beliefs. These are things that we might not ever share outwardly, but they're things that we feel. So because this moon is occurring beneath that basket configuration, okay, so that would be what we would consider a night sky. We've been kind of up until this point discussing like these are personal revelations. They're not separate from the collective transformation. Um, Honestly, they're directly connected to it. So, because we're all connected, we need to learn, we need to see that we're all connected. We need to connect the dots. And if you think of it this way, the world is changing at lightning speed. I can't even stress enough how quickly it's changing. Technology is evolving. Every day there's a different AI. There's something like you learn one thing. It's like I literally went on the Canva to do something, and they completely updated it. I had it was like I had to learn Canva all over again. I actually became frustrated. Another one of those minor inconveniences over the last couple of weeks. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. It was just like it was frustrating. Okay, and like the worst thing you can do is go against the grain. Like either click off or take a breath and just move forward. Just step into the energy because eventually you're going to have to, pay the piper. You're going to have to face it. Okay? So it's important that we build a strong emotional foundation and one that's not rooted in old fears, old wounds, or outdated beliefs because otherwise you will struggle to navigate the opportunities that are popping up all around us. All right. And I know it's hard to see the forest through the trees right now. I really do. I know a lot of people are struggling. People are losing their jobs. They're losing their homes. They're hungry. Prices are through the roof. Gasoline is expensive. But they're external things, and they're external things that I always say we all have the same. We all require the same things to live. We all want to be happy. We all want to feel safe and secure. We all need food, clothing, shelter, affordable housing, a car to get to work, a job if you have, if you still have one. But everything that's happening is happening for a reason, and I know it's so hard. So right now I'm on overdrive. So here we go. So, um, so you may have old memories resurfacing, former relationships reappear. That's funny because I actually just heard from a cousin that I lost contact with that I haven't heard from in like 5 or 6 years. I got a message from her last night, and about right after Mercury turned retrograde, or right around pre-shadow, I got a call from someone I haven't heard from in years. So there may be family issues that need your attention, emotions you thought were resolved. So remember all the rewords: revisit, review, revise, renew. Think of it in a positive way as giving us another opportunity. So none of this is happening to punish you. We are not here to be punished. It's happening so that we can finally release what no longer belongs in our lives, especially this next chapter, because it's a big one. And the timing is really important because the second half of July, the energy accelerates dramatically. On the 17th, Uranus forms its exact trine to Pluto, activating that larger, ever evolutionary um, energy storyline we've been discussing, and it marks a turning point in the collective timeline. So, new innovations emerge, new solutions appear, and unexpected opportunities arrive almost out of nowhere. Make sure you're paying attention to the signs and synchronicities. But remember the lesson of the sextile. It's not going to be served to you on a silver platter. It requires action. So the door may be open, but you still have to walk through it. So the final weeks of July will be rewarding to those who are willing to take action, decisive action, action where you've actually used discernment. Waiting for certainty may leave you standing still while the world continues to move forward. And that's okay, because some people don't want to move forward. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. You know, if you want to live in the past, and you know, that's fine. If you want to move forward, then you want to walk through the door. You might want to run through the door. Actually, you want to walk through the door, and you want to look both ways before you cross the street. So the astrology keeps repeatedly emphasizing that you want to be a participant, not an observer. So this is not the month to be a spectator. This is the month to be a builder. Think about Saturn. You want to build a solid foundation. This is a creator's month, okay? There's a lot of creative energy. All the water signs, Leo's very creative. Water signs are very creative. Everybody, I mean, anyone, Leo's creative. Most signs are creative, but in different ways, different areas, okay? So this is a month where the future begins to take visible form through the choices that we are making today, yesterday and today. And the friction that many people are experiencing is not something that's wrong. It's showing us that something is moving, okay? Old structures, Saturn is starting to loosen its grip on things as it pulls away from Neptune. And Saturn is, where are we at here, Saturn? It's 14 degrees, 37 minutes, so it's almost halfway through. When Saturn reaches 15 degrees, it's at its strongest point, okay? So that's really important. So we have the strength now. We have the ability to build that solid foundation. We just have to focus our attention. Remember, energy flows where our, focus goes. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, energy flows where our focus goes. Something like that. Did I say that right? I'm not even sure. I don't even remember what I've said, people. Okay. I wrote this late last night, so I'm hoping it's making sense. So all the new structures are not fully formed, which means we have a choice. We get to choose what we want to build. We get to choose how we want to build it and who we want to build it with. Remember, Pluto and Aquarius, partnership, people coming together, the humanitarian. We can't do this alone. And we're finding ourselves where we are standing at the threshold between worlds, all right? So this is why this month feels so intense, because we're not witnessing history. We are actually not only participating in it, but helping to create it. So that is it. That is the astrology. So I'm going to pull a couple of cards and let's see what comes up in the cards. I lost my signal over here. So let me see if I can get it back so I can see who's on. If anyone is on and you would like a card, just put me and I will definitely pull a card for you. Okay. Hey, Judy. How are you, sweetie? I didn't see you on there earlier. This is acting a little, cuckoo bananas. So I have one phone that actually took a crash on me. I need to replace, and this phone is not cooperating with. Here, let me put my mouse there. It won't stand up. Okay. All right, so let's pull some cards. So I felt guided to the hidden realms because there are a lot of things that we still aren't seeing clearly, but we're going to be because Neptune's in retrograde, um, along with Mercury, along with, I feel like I'm missing something. Mercury's retrograde, Neptune's retrograde, Pluto's retrograde. There we go. So those are our three retrograde planets. So they're all recovering old territory. Remember, Pluto is your personal power. Neptune is your intuition. It can also be illusion or delusion. And what was the other one I said? I completely forgot. This is how, like, literally oh, Mercury. And we all know about Mercury, okay? Revise, revisit, review, renew, redo. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see. So I felt like the hidden realms. That's what I felt called to, and not really sure why, but I guess the cards will tell us. So let me push this back a little bit. Sorry, people, I'm not looking my best, but I'm down here painting woodwork. And then this room's done. So tired of painting. I've been painting for 3 weeks now. All right. It's always like, feels good when you get it done, right? Look at those, like, especially that windowsill. They're both done, but the sun's hitting the other one, so you can't really see. Look how nice and shiny that is. I love high gloss charm. But that's me. I like shiny things. This one. Focus on the brilliance, and it's a 38, so it's an 11. Focused attention, prioritizing, persevering. Okay, so we were kind of talking about this, right? Our attention goes, our energy flows where our attention, whatever our attention is focused on is where our energy goes. So we want to make sure we have our priorities in place, and this is about self-preservation. This is about the inner work. This is about self-care as well with Cancer. Definitely self-care is very, very important. And I like this. Look, it's like looks like one eye, right? And you see the light as if it's like reflected light. Okay, so what is that reflecting? Focus on the brilliance. Pretty amazing. I actually have I have such monkey mind. My brain is all over the place. I'm gonna tell you right now, my yod's activated. All right, so like my brain is in 10 places at one time, and actually all 10 places know exactly what's going on and what they're doing. It's just that sometimes the wires are getting a little bit crossed. And I'm like, yeah, I'm painting now. Oh, I'm doing cards. Oh, I'm doing a live. Yeah, we're in retrograde. Oh, we're in retrograde here. Yeah, we're in retrograde there. And what are we focused on? And when is this room going to be done? Anyway, today. It's going to be done today. So focus on the brilliance. And this is talking about your own, focus on your own brilliance as well. Focus on your own brilliance. I know what I wanted to say. I saw it was the rose bush. Beautiful hummingbird this morning, and I saw a family of deer. So I have deer here, and then my little Maverick, who isn't really crazy about water. Little Miss Mystic, she jumps right in the stream. Okay, guys, she jumps right in the stream. Maverick doesn't, but Maverick got so excited he saw minnows, a little school of minnows the other day, and he literally just jumped right in the water. And if you could have saw the look on his face after he jumped in the water, he was like shocked. And then he was so proud of himself because he jumped in the water. Okay, so the next card is a 16. It's a 7. This is about your personal connection with the divine, okay? God, spirit, whatever word you want to use. And we got non-action, Slow down, not yet. Frozen for a time. Now, I find this interesting because what this is saying is this is not saying don't move forward. This is where the discernment comes in. Okay, remember, we're reviewing in Mercury retrograde, Pluto's reviewing, um, Neptune's going back over old territory. So we want to make sure we're taking in all of that old information and releasing it, what no longer serves us, before we move forward. So this is just a temporary pause. Think of it as like taking in a deep breath and how we hold the breath, and then we exhale. It's that kind of energy. So this isn't telling us to stop. This is telling us to just slow down just a little bit. We don't want to get our wires crossed. Next card, 32, a 5, transformation. And it's all the blessings everywhere. Gifts from the universe and synchronicities. I love this. I love this. Look at all the hearts. Look at all the blessings. And think about it. Are you someone who counts your blessings every day? Do you show gratitude every day? You know, I always wake up in the morning and like one of the first things I do is I say thank you. Even before my feet hit the floor, I'm like, thank you. I don't even, it's just like I'm awake. I'm alive. I don't know if it's going to be a good day. I don't know if it's going to be a bad day. Thank you. You know what? I'm just thinking, there's this bunch in my shirt. And my nose was running when I was painting, and I don't have any pockets. And I just stuck this down in my shirt. It's so funny. Excuse me. I have to, this is the crazy kind of stuff I've been doing. You have to admit, I'm entertaining. I have my bathing suit on, and then what I do is in between, like I roll, because I also have a one wall that I have to roll. Again, I'm looking at it and I could see it. It needs one more coat. So in between coats of paint, I go out and I lay out in the sun. So it takes an hour, so I get an hour of sun while my paint is drying. So I'm multitasking, people. I'm doing all kinds of things crazy. All right. Crazy good. It's a crazy good kind of thing. I love summer because I don't have to put on a lot of makeup. It would be nice if I dyed my hair, though. I don't even know if I'm going to do that. Saturn is Kronos. The feminine form of Kronos is the crone. So I think since I found out I'm a Capricorn rising, I think I should just let myself become the old crone and enjoy it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll let you know. After all this painting, I'll let you know. So what's next? What's next? What's next? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's see what's next. For some reason, Debbie is popping into my mind. And Debbie, you know who you are. So, the sovereignty of magic, another 5. So we got more transformation, synchronicities, miracles, and spiritual forces. What did I say earlier, people? There is just magic in every day. Some days we have to look a little harder. Some days we forget. But the signs and synchronicities are always there. The universe is always working behind the scenes for us, not against us. Saturn is the great teacher. It's structure, it's foundation, it's father energy, it's time, it's the ancient ruler of Uranus, so it is also attached to astrology in a way. And we just have to remember that a lot of what's going on is about sovereignty because we have a choice. We're actually participants, each and every one of us, in creating the future, the new Earth. We're creating history, whether we want to or not. Okay, the next card is a 6, surrender to the change, the art of allowing resilience and adaptability. How beautiful is this? So this is saying, don't fight it. Let go. Let God, spirit, whatever, and stay in flow. Just stay in flow. Let the release happen. It may not be easy. And you know what? It's a good time, like water. You know, Cancer's a water sign. Water's healing. Water helps transform. It helps cleanse. It helps flow. Okay? So take advantage of water. If you have a pool, swim. If you have a stream that you can put your feet in, do it. Take a salt bath. Sit with your feet in a bucket of, a pail of water. Whatever it is. Go run under the sprinkler. Do whatever. I've already been in the stream, watered my plants, painting. All right. So the next card is a 7 again. So again, we're back to our personal one-on-one connection with spirit. Choosing higher ground, consequences, and unconscious choice making. The burden of choice. I always find this card interesting. Do you remember in the astrology I said we're between two worlds? And this is saying we all carry the burden now of making our own choice. And it really isn't a burden. The burden is an illusion. Okay? So this is absolutely beautiful because we are in the process of creating a whole new world. Good morning, Sarah. How are you, darling? I saw your new little place. It's amazing. I haven't been on Facebook a lot. That's why you have not seen me. I've moved and I've been painting for the last 3 weeks. But I figured since this was such an important moon, I wanted to get everything in. So let's do another one. If anyone wants a card, say me, and I will pull cards. Okay, so where are we in all of this? We're in retrograde, and we're moving forward at the same time. So it's a call to transformation. It's an 8. 8 is about infinite abundance. And remember that abundance comes in many forms. And right now, we are in the stage of metamorphosis. We are the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. And we are in between. And this is the second card that's telling us we are between worlds. Now, what I want to say is, we're not only between worlds, we are on parallel timelines, okay? And I want to say we're on more than 2 timelines at a time. So I could be painting my house now and astro traveling tonight. I've had some crazy dreams. For some reason, I have become the earthquake predictor. I don't know why, because it's not something that I like to focus on. There's been, especially with some of them have been quite serious. But just remember that Uranus is shaking things up, and it's shaking things up to wake things up, okay? And that includes us and everything around us. So with that card, I actually thought it was 2 cards, but 3 cards came out. So the next one is an 11, and it's connection through the cosmos. Community, everything is connected, and the law of reciprocity. So this is about giving and receiving. I love this card, and I always talk about how we're all connected, and very Piscean, this card, also very Aquarian, because Aquarius is the humanitarian. And the next one is 22, the alchemy of poison. And 2 is the divine feminine. And this is also a 4. This is about, this is Saturn. This is transformational lessons, reclaiming personal choice, and radical forgiveness. How appropriate for Cancer. Really. Because we can be our we can be our best teachers. We're reclaiming our power and radical forgiveness. And that radical forgiveness includes ourselves, okay? Especially in Cancer, all that self care. You know, you got a Virgo, and I think you got a Gemini. I can't remember. Can't remember. Okay, so the next one is a 9, so it's about endings and new beginnings. Every word has power: education, power of persuasion, communication, and internal dialogue. So it's about the self talk. Remember, we're releasing the things that don't serve us, and part of that is the self talk, and to remember to forgive ourselves. So, um, remember that remember the power that words carry, especially in Mercury retrograde, because there could be a lot of miscommunication. All right, and the last one is a 10, which is a 1. Begin with faith, beginnings, innocence, fertility, and growth. And it's begin with faith in spring. And I know that we're in summertime, but it seems like with this new beginning, and when we think about the astrological new year, that actually happens in the spring, right? It's usually March 20th, March 21st is the first full day of spring, and that's usually the equinox is the 20th or the 21st, depending on whether or not it's leap year. Um, so we are at a point where we are creating a whole new world based on the choices that we make. So this has been a really, really beautiful reading. Sarah, it's a long video. It's an hour long, but if you get a chance, go back and listen to it, because the astrology is really, really important for this, especially with the Barbo's basket, because it's like a basket. I call it a cradle. It's like the universe is cradling us. Some beautiful energy coming in. And Sarah, let me shuffle these up really good. And these, whatever comes out is for you. And I decided to use the guides of the hidden realms because it just felt appropriate, since we're doing all this releasing and moving forward. Even though we have planets in retrograde, we're releasing what doesn't serve us so we can build a stronger foundation. And we're all builders. We're all builders of the future. We're all in this process of making history together. Very Aquarian, very Plutonian, very Uranian, very Neptunian, because we get to dream. This is where we get to and Mars. This is where we get to bring the dream to fruition. Okay, Sarah, you got 11. You got connection through the cosmos. Okay, community, everything is connected, and the law of reciprocity. Reciprocity. Be nice if I could talk. The law of reciprocity. So it's about giving and receiving. And you just opened up that new your new little oh, I'm gonna call it a she shed. I'm gonna call it your spiritual she shed. Help me, Sarah. I can't think of the word. Your Cancer moon. It always hits you hard. Well, I think for you, Sarah, the most important thing is the self-care, and forgiving the self. When you're letting go of the sanctuary. Thank you. It's your spiritual sanctuary. It's her spiritual I can't talk. Her spiritual she shed sanctuary, and she's doing some amazing new work, and she's waited, it's been like 5 years for that. Has it taken about 5 years, Sarah? Am I right? I remember reading your post the other day. I was just like quick on, quick off. I really haven't been real interactive, and I saw that, and I'm pretty sure I put a heart on it. And are you doing something for the moon? Did I see you were doing something for the moon? I just go out on and check my messages, just because I've been in the middle of so many things. I have so much going on. But yeah. So connection through the cosmos. So, you are the moon. So Cancer moon. So this is your moon. So take care of yourself. 5.5 years in the making. Yeah. And how does it feel now, Sarah? How does it feel now? It's got to feel pretty amazing. I was really happy for you when I saw that. I really was. Oh, Sarah. We had to have all these cards came out. It's like, oh, let me pick another card for you. All right, Sarah. Let's see. This is the next one I saw. Next one's a 6. Rise to the occasion. Cap- Capability, strength, authenticity, and free will. Look at that crown chakra. Amazing. Because you do amazing work. And you're going to light people up with all the connection. And you're going to focus on the brilliance of not only others, but especially yourself. Because only when you see your own light can you see the light in others clearly. Oh, I love this. This is one of my favorite cards. Epiphanies sing at dawn. Aha moment, awakening new directions and potential. That's all coming for you. Is that a phoenix? I'm going to say yes. I call it a phoenix. So think of, to me, this is very Uranian because Gemini is the mind, right? And Uranus is very active and Uranus is in Gemini. So think higher mind. So think of rising to another level, to another realm. Okay? So literally, it's kind of otherworldly. It's off planet. And then you got Epiphany sing at dawn, okay? Which is confirming this. And this. I love this for you. And self-expression, protection, and authentic self. The masks we wear, which is something that I forgot to mention during the astrology reading. It's very, very important that we no longer wear these masks, that we stand in our truth and our authenticity. Stop worrying about what other people think. Give it up. Give it up. Gave it up years ago. It's kind of like, it doesn't matter what they think. If they think you're cuckoo bananas, then they think you're cuckoo bananas. I personally like bananas. It doesn't bother me at all. But speak your truth. You want to speak your truth. You want to shine your light. We're in Mercury retrograde. Remember, there could be miscommunication and your truth might not always be accepted in the way in which, or received in the way in which you meant it to be. So, you may want to write it down. This way, there is no miscommunication. But then again, I don't know. I've gotten a few text messages where I'm like, I could take that either way. So, and then we have 44. You just got a 33 and a 44. 2 master numbers back to back. And this is all about communication. This is about your connection with the divine. You got an 11, the open doorway. You got a 6, birthing something new. And you got another 11. So there you go. And master number, master builder, 44 is Saturn. Emergence of hope, faith, trusting in divine plan. All is well and patience. And it's also an 8, so it's about infinite abundance. So what this is saying is that we know there's always hope, but the energy that's coming in is bringing us new hope. And that's coming from that Jupiter in Leo. Okay? Because Jupiter is like Santa Claus. And Leo always speaks its truth. It never has a false mask. It has no problem speaking its truth. And then the last one is you got another 3. So communication, 3rd house. Think Gemini. Think the Trinity. And it's the river dances to the sea. This is about flow and trusting in the adventure. So Sarah, let go and let God. stick your feet in some water and continue communicating. Remember that all of the hard work that you have been putting in over the last several years has not been in vain. You have been building momentum over a period of years. What do they say? Rome wasn't built in a day, a week, a month, or a year. So these are your cards, beautiful. So I hope that resonates with you. Hey, Nancy, how are you? So I hope you all just have a beautiful, blessed day. And I'm going to get back to painting my woodwork. And I love you all. And yeah. Happy new moon in Cancer. Now, Cancer is also very intuitive. It's one of the most intuitive signs, Cancer and Pisces and Scorpio. Well, we have a lot of intuitive signs, but the moon and Pisces are the two most. It's at 5. So this is on the bottom of the deck. And since you're a Cancer moon, Sarah, I'm going to say emergence of true knowing. Follow your intuition, rigorous honesty, and take personal inventory. Make sure you're Make sure you're upping the self-care. You're being truthful and honest with yourself. You're releasing what no longer serves you, and fall in love with you. Take care, everyone. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and namaste.